Today, the administration in damage control. The president's Homeland Security advisor, Lisa Monaco, writing in USA Today that the White House will review NSA surveillance, quote, to ensure we are collecting information because we need it and not just because we can. U.S. officials confirmed some damage has already been done.
It's created significant challenges in our relationships with some of our partners.
What the White House still will not confirm, however, is if the NSA did in the past monitor the calls of world leaders, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
All I can tell you is what the president told the chancellor. The United States is not monitoring and will not monitor the communications of the chancellor.
That answer not yet satisfying for European allies, who in Brussels today warned the surveillance could jeopardize their crucial cooperation with the U.S. on intelligence gathering.
We have an ongoing dialogue with the Americans regarding both the past, what's been done, but it should also, and most importantly, deal with the present and the future.
But obviously words will not be sufficient. True change is necessary.
And more shoes may soon drop. The U.S. is now reportedly warning other countries not publicly allied with the U.S. that documents taken by Edward Snowden detail their secret intel cooperation with the U.S. in operations targeting China, Russia, and Iran.
I think outing these countries would then put their relations with Iran in jeopardy and also could make them open to some form of Iranian intelligence or other retaliation.
For some of these countries, it can be particularly damaging for it to become public that they're cooperating with the U.S., so the possibility of those revelations particularly dangerous. And just after the WikiLeaks cables were released, there was a real problem for the U.S. in terms of other officials talking to U.S. diplomats abroad. They were worried that whatever they said might be made public someday. This potentially even more damaging because we're talking about very secret information here, not just diplomatic cables, but top secret information, intelligence gathering, a real danger for American intelligence activities abroad. Wolf.
Yeah, when you have U.S. ambassadors in allied countries, NATO allies, being summoned in by the foreign minister for formal complaints about these reports, certainly that makes John Kerry, the Secretary of State, his job, as difficult as it already is, even more difficult.
No question. We had one more U.S. ambassador summoned today, that in Spain, which gives us another idea of what one of those 35 countries we were talking about yesterday that U.S. was spying on their world leaders. You can surmise that one of those was Spain as well.
Yeah, it's one thing to have a U.S. ambassador summoned in a country not so friendly, but when Spain or other NATO allies do it, that's a huge deal.